Hey everyone, in this video I will show you how to make this smear dash effect. So here if I dash, you can see the smear effect happening. So this is in the particle system, but it is just the mesh smearing like this. So if I move, you can see there is some small smears, and if I speed up, you can see that the length of the smear is increasing. And here if I dash, you can see a long smear effect happening like this. So you can control a lot of parameters with this. So here you can see that we have a different color and it looks like this. And also we can change the length and all the other parameters also. So here you can see that we have a different look like this, and you can see that the trails are a bit shorter. And here you can also increase the size of the smears. So now you have smears like this. And here you can also see that we can decrease the size of the smears. So it is finer right now. And you also have this top and bottom mask and also this speed. So if I change this speed to like 20 or something like that, then we get something like this. We can also make it very long. So if I change this to 3000, then we can have a very long smear like this. And here with that we can also decrease the texture size. So now we will get a different look. So it looks like this now. You can also change the base color to black or something like that, and you can turn off the bottom mask. So now if I dash, you can see an effect like this. This is what we are going to be making today. So if you have the dash effect from my previous tutorial, you can have an effect like this. So in order to complete the shadow wheel effect, I also need to upload the scan effect video, but I have some new ideas for it. So I will be working a little more on that scan effect before I release it, because it is kind of similar to some of my previous tutorials and I want to add some new stuff to it. So stay tuned for that. It is coming. So this tutorial was sponsored by Beard Games. He has a really cool Unreal Engine channel, and here's a short message from him.
Hey guys, have you ever wanted to create a game, or are you currently creating a game? What if I told you you could be creating content like this in a month? Hi, my name's John and Beard Games is my YouTube channel. I'm currently in production of a 30-day tutorial series where I aim to fast track you through the essentials of Unreal Engine, so you can go from where you are now to creating your first game in just 30 days. If that doesn't appeal to you, when I finish the series I'll be taking tutorial requests and working on a multiplayer and mobile game tutorial series. It'd be so awesome if you joined us, and together we'll create some kick-ass games. Find me at Beard Games on YouTube.
So to create this effect, first we need to create the smear material. So for that, right click, then go to material. Then we can call this m underscore smear. Then open it up. Now we can right click and type in vertex normal. And we will get this vertex normal node. And if I change this to a cube and connect this to the MC color, and here you can see three axes, and here you can see the x-axis which has a red color, and the y-axis which has a green color, and the z-axis which has a blue color. And here opposite of this red color, this will be -1 in the red channel, and for the green channel same thing. So in order to create the smear effect, we need to mask out the back side of the character. So in order to do that, we can dot this vertex normal with a location vector. So in order to do that, we can drag and type in dot. So this will create a dot product. And now we can press and hold V and click. So we get this vector parameter, and we can call this LOC. Now we can connect this to B, and we can connect this to the MC color. So right now nothing is showing up. But if I change this default value to 1, then you can see that this x side is white. So what this dot product does is that it compares two vectors, and if they are similar to each other, it will output a value of 1. And if these vectors are pointing in the opposite direction, the value will be 0, and everything between that will be a value between 0 and 1. So here you can see a gradient where this meets, because here in this direction the x is one value. So anything that is pointing in the x direction will be white, and the opposite side will be black. Same thing with the c or the upside. So if I give a value of 1 for b, we can see some of it appearing on the c axis also. So we get a mask like this. So some of it is in the x axis and some of it is in the c axis. So if I change the x value to 0, it will be completely to the top like this. So we can bring in the forward vector from the blueprint and mask out the backside of our character. So here one thing to notice that this will be a negative value sometimes, because this vertex normal has negative value also. So we just need to saturate this. So it will clamp this value between 0 and 1. And now we can just create a material instance and open this up. And if I just click apply here, you can then easily manipulate these values here like this. So now we need to create the smearing. For that we need to use noise textures. So in the starter content you can get this water texture. So bring that into the smear effect. Then just duplicate that. And we can just add both of them together. And then saturate that value so it won't go above 1. Then here we can multiply both of these values. And we will get another multiply. So I will explain why we need this later. Just leave it at 1 for now. Now we will get another multiply. And we can connect this to the world position offset. And now if I press and hold S and click, I can get this scalar parameter. And I can call this amount. And I can connect this to the B. Now if I click apply, now if I increase the amount like 100, so now you can see that there is some smearing, but it is going in the wrong direction. So to make this go in the right direction, you can just connect this to the multiply here. So now you can see that it is going in the up direction. And if I change this B value to 0 and change this to a Y value, it will be in the forward direction like this. So here you can see that the X is pointing this way and it is pointing that way. And if I change this value to like 1000 or something like that, then there will be more smears like this. And if you want to move the smears, you can just pan around this textures. So in order to pan around this textures, first I will get a UV coordinate by pressing and holding U and clicking. And now I can get a multiply node by pressing and holding M and clicking. And I can connect this here. And now I can press and hold S and click to get this scalar parameter. And I can call this tiling. So this will control the overall tiling of the material. Now I can connect this here. And now here I will get a panel. And I can connect this to the UV here. And then I will get a multiply. So this is just to prevent the overlapping of both these textures. Now we can get the panel again and connect this here and connect this here. And now we can get a scalar parameter and we can call this speed. And we can connect this to speed here. And here we will just 1 minus this. Now if I press apply, we can go to the material instance. And I can change the tiling to like 1. and we can see something like this. And here I will just turn on real time. And now if I just increase the speed to like 100, you can see more movement like this. So here I will just decrease the amount to like 400. So we get something like this. So here you don't really need the 1 minus node. It will just complicate things. So I will just disconnect that and connect speed here. And if I click apply now you can see that everything is moving like this. Now in order to give it a different color when it is moving like that, so we can first give it a base color. So for that, press and hold V and click, and we can call this base color. Then connect this to the base color, and then for the emissive, get a lerp, and we can basically get a power node. So this is just to control the contrast, and saturate this, and connect this to the alpha. Then get a scalar parameter, and we can call this power, and I will default this to 1 and connect this here, and now connect this to the MC color. Now get a vector parameter again by pressing and holding V and clicking, and we can call this smear color, and connect this to A. So here you can see that the values are white. So since we connected the color to the B, we will get the B output when the values are white, and A output when the values are black. A is essentially a black color into the emissive, so it won't show up. So now if I press apply, and here now I can change the base color to white, and I can pick the smear color and change this to a very orange color, or I can change this to a color like this. Now if you only want to have this color on the bottom of the smear, you can go back to the material. So here you saw that when we dotted the vertex normal with the value of 1 for B, the top was white. So we will do the same thing to mask out the bottom of the smear. So we will just duplicate this. And now we can get a 3 vector by pressing holding 3 and clicking. And I will give a value of 1 for B. And basically we will just 1 minus this and saturate this, because we need the value of 1 at the bottom. So when we dot this, the value of 1 at the bottom will be -1, and at the top it will be 1. So when we 1 minus it, the bottom will be 1 and the top will be -1. And here after that we can just saturate this, so the values stay between 0 and 1. And now I can multiply this power with this value, and if I click apply, you can really see much. So I will just increase the power to like 100 or like 20. So if I just connect this here to the MC color and hit apply, I can see that everywhere it is white. So we don't really want that. So I will just disconnect the base color also. So here you can see that the top is a bit black and everything else is white. So if you need to increase that, we can just get a multiply, and then we can just increase the value like 20 or something like that. Then we get something like this. And now if we connect this to the MC color and this back to the base color and click apply, and now we can just decrease the power to like 2 or something like that. So now you can see that it is only visible at the bottom like this. And if you want to adjust this, we can just create a height parameter, and we can connect this here. And now if I increase the height, you can see that the top is darkening like this. So now we will do the blueprint for the dash effect. So for that, go to the third person character blueprint. Then go to an empty spot and type in E keyboard event. So in order to make the character dash, we need to drag and type in launch character. So here if you give a very huge value for C, like 1000, and press E, you can see that our character is jumping up like this. And if we give a huge value like 1000 for X, then the character kind of moves in the X direction like this. So this doesn't matter which direction the character faces, he moves in that direction. So I will just remove the C and show you. So if I press X, you can see that he is moving a little bit because here the gravity is pulling him down and he cannot move. But no matter where the character is facing, he is only moving in one direction also. So we need to solve the problem with the gravity and also with the direction. So in order to solve the problem with the direction, we can get the capsule component and type in get forward vector. So this forward vector is just a unit vector of whichever way the character is facing at a given point. So if we just multiply this with like a huge value like 1000 or something like that, then if we press E from here, he will try to move in the forward direction, and here he will try to move in the forward direction also. So whichever way the character is moving, he will move in that direction. So in order to solve the problem with the gravity, we can just drag the character movement, then type in set gravity scale, then give it a value of 0 and connect this here. And now after a delay, we can set this gravity back to like 1. So this delay can be how long you want the dash effect to last. So I will give it a value of 1. So it will last for 1 second. And I will set the gravity scale back to 1 after that. So now if I press E, you can see that he is moving in the forward direction like this. So this isn't really a great solution, but it worked for the tutorial. So just to show the effect, it will work. So here, in order to make the character move a bit more, we can change this value to like 3000. And now if I press E, you can see that he is moving much further. So one advantage or a disadvantage with this method is that if you jump and press E, you can go much further. So in this tutorial, I am leaving it like that because it will show off the effect. But if you don't want this to work, then one simple solution is just to get a branch and type in is flying. So here it is falling. And if this is false, then we can press it. So if I press E, I can see the effect happening. And if I jump and press E, nothing happens. So this is a safeguard against that if you want that. But I don't really want that, so I will just connect it directly here. And now we will just add our material to our character. So select the mesh, then select the instance and add that to the mesh here. Only the first element, because the second element is a chest and we don't really want that. Now we need to create a dynamic material instance from this material. So for that, type in begin play, then drag the mesh in and right click and type in create dynamic material instance. Then connect this here. And we can create a reference to this. So I will change this to like, I will name this M reference. So this will be our material reference. So now with the material reference, we need to update the location value and the amount value using the blueprint. So for that, we need to call event tick. So type in tick, then get a branch, then promote this to a variable and type in dash question mark. So if this is dashing, then we will execute this part of the code. So if the character is dashing, we will execute this part of the code. Now bring in the material reference. Then we will just bring in the capsule component and type in get forward vector. And since we are going to be dotting this with the vertex normal, and we need to make the backside of the character white, we need to invert this. So an easy way to do that is by just multiplying the vector with a -1 float value. So now the backside will be white. Now from the M reference, type in set vector parameter value. And from the true, connect this to set vector parameter value. And here you can type in loc. So this is the same loc from here. And now connect this to the value here. And now if I press play, you can see that whichever side I am moving, it looks like this. But this isn't really changing with my velocity. So here we will just disable the dash. So now here we will just press Alt and drag the dash in and connect this here and take this. So first of all, when I untick this and connect this here, and now if I play, you can see that. So here you can see that because the forward vector isn't updating, it looks like this. If I connect this here, see here now it is not updating either, but if I press E, you can see that now it is updating all the time according to the player's position. So now we just have to set the amount value. So in order to do that, we can just disconnect this and get a lerp and connect this to the alpha here and connect this to B. Now get another scalar parameter and we can call this max and connect this to the B here and click apply. So here we can lerp a value between 0 and max using this amount value. Now go back to the instance and change the amount to 0 and change the max to like 400. Now we can set the max value using the event tick. So before that, we just have to get the speed of the character. So bring in the character movement and from here type in get velocity. So here we only need the speed, which is the magnitude of this vector, and we don't really need the direction. So in order to get the speed, we can just type in square and get, and here we can get vector length squared. And now if I get a print node and connect this to the string here, and if I press E, you can see the speed here. So it's like 900,000 or something like that. So if we just divide this by 900,000, we can get a value between 0 and 1. See, we can get a value between 0 and 1. We will use that value to lerp this amount value. we can also multiply the amount with this saturate. So when the amount is 0, everything will be dark. So when we start the effect, the amount value will be 0. So if we multiply that with this and connect that to the LR, everything will be black or 0 when the effect starts. But when we set the amount value to 1, it will be bright again. So if I click apply, now if I press play, you can see that nothing is happening. But now if I go here and drag from this reference and type in set scalar parameter value and connect this here and connect this to the value here and change the parameter name to amount. Now we are setting this amount value according to the speed of the character, this amount parameter here. So now if I press play and press the E key, you can see that he is kind of, so now you can see that he is smearing like this. So if we go to the instance and set the tiling to like 0, 1, then you can get an effect like this. And if you set the tiling to like 3, then you can get an effect like this. And you can also increase the max value. So if I change this to like 1000, like this, I can get a longer smear effect like this. I can also change the color. I can change it to like a blue color like this. So I have something like this. Now you can see that when we move, we are also getting this effect. And when we move faster, it will be longer. So here we don't really want this dash to be always true, because that will make this parameters always on even if we are not using the dash effect. So in order to prevent that, we can just drag from here and type in less than or equal to, and we will just disable the dash when the player stops moving. So we can change this value to like 20 or something. That's when the player stops moving. And we can get a branch and connect this here and connect this here. Then just alt drag this in and just keep this unticked. Now if I press play and if I press the E key, now when I move like this, it is not happening. So everything after the tick is in working. But if I press E, we can see the effect. But what if we need the smear effect when we are moving also? So in order to do that, an easy way is to just create a custom event and type in movement update, then connect this here. So this will circumvent this dash check. And now we can go up to here to the input movement forward, and here we can drag and type in code movement update and connect both of this here like this. And now if I press play, when I move, you can see the smear effect, and when I press E, you can also see the smear effect. So when the character is idle, everything after this branch is not executing, because we are just stopping the tick with this branch because this dash is set to false. So I think that's it for the tutorial, guys. Thanks for watching, and if you want to download the project files, you can check out my Patreon.